Sup, dorks? What you got in your lunchbox? My name's Jason Ward, and I'm from MakingStarWars.net. It's my sketchy friend, Rob.
I got my official 1960s diner mug in my lunchbox.
I think we had those at Norm's. I think we had those at Norm's. I think. Oh, out here.
Oh yeah.
That looks familiar. It definitely looks familiar.
Bob's Big Boy, my friend.
But what are you drinking in there?
Black coffee. Black coffee, just like the 60s.
All right.
Yeah, I don't eat nothing until 2.
Yeah, I only have black coffee too. You okay?
Mm-hmm. You want it?
No, I have coffee. Thank you, baby. Appreciate it. Okay. You made this for me?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
You made it for me.
All right. Thanks, kid. That's kind of like, it's like, you made this for me.
Child labor also popular in the 60s. Coming back.
I got some hot chocolate, you guys, made by my servant. Anyways, yeah. So today we got 2 things to talk about, and the first is Max's Kitty Cats, and that's that we are nearing halfway about saving Max's cats. We got to save Max's cats, you guys. This is important. If we don't save Max's cats, the show's done. I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Not doing it anymore. But here's the important, it's important. And right here,
Santa's like, don't I give enough? No, fine.
I just want people to understand what's at stake. This is an interdimensional crisis. If we don't save Max's cats, because over here in our world, it's the Save the Cats initiative, right? But in another dimension, it's the Dave the Cats initiative. And right here, we got Mohawk. And in case you don't know, Mohawk, he's making a really artsy Star Wars cartoon. It's mostly for adults. It's like a samurai sci-fi cyberpunk thriller. And it's by Mohawk Cat Filoni. And if we don't get that one out, if we don't save him in this universe, who knows what's going to happen in the other universe? I mean, I don't keep up on all of this, Rob. Do you have any idea what kind of feature Rocky might be working on?
Wait. Okay. I was like Stallone.
No.
Like,
Rocky,
no, man.
The cat who wears
QAnon hats now. Oh yeah. Yeah. He's on Indiana Jones 5. That's welcome to his code name on set is Sonya. That is Sonya.
Okay. And then over here, right here, we got Gizmo, and it's more of a Boogie Nights meet Star Wars feature. If you've ever wanted to see that, it's definitely weird when that Chewbacca is like doing this and going like, I just want to see it again. But that's what he's making. And then we got the mom and the baby, ironically, making 2 different features, 2 different kinds of Star Wars movies. Like this, the mom is just making the kind of Star Wars movie that you are always used to. The baby, it's not your mama's Star Wars movie. This one is like sort of like a Michael Bay kid adventure. It's like Goonies meets Transformers. But it's not going to happen if we don't help Max. And so we got to raise some more money for the Max. And this is the Max message. Friends, normally when I ask, would I need some assistance? Today we learned that 2 outdoor kittens in our backyard had feline panleukemia. 2 died and I buried them both in our backyard. This is like parvovirus and very contagious and deadly. The vet has recommended that I get all 6 of my cats tested and vaccinated immediately. So she needs $703. And we are close to halfway, but we're not there yet. And right here is the information how you can help Max out to get the kitties taken care of. So this is important kitty history, you guys. Very important kitty history. So if you guys can help, it would be super appreciated. And then on to the Star Wars news, right? Hey, Santa. By the way, today, as on Star Wars Santa show, check it out. It's pretty fun. We broke down, we are going line by line on the history of the sequel trilogy, the George Lucas version, and it's in depth. So People magazine just put up something pretty interesting. We get to see a scene from the Book of Boba, and let's share that right now. I got to make sure I have the sound on to it, which I do.
Can't wait. I'm excited. Let's get happy.
All right.
Christmas time. Let's do it. All right.
So we are seeing our first clip from the Book of Boba. It's right here on people.com.
Oh, my favorite website.
Yeah, people.com. So here we go. Let's watch the scene. About 30 seconds long. Here we go.
Jabba had many vassals. We've got a lot of ground to cover if we are to keep his empire intact.
I can make the rounds without you. Jabba rarely left his chambers.
Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
If I may.
Speak freely.
In difficult times, fear is a sure bet.
What? Ooh, that is some classic Star Wars acting, guys. Gotta say.
To the sequels.
Yeah, that is from the prequels to the sequels. That is very much some of yeah, it definitely feels like old Star Wars. It's kind of funny.
What is I just want to be excited, man. What is going on? Why can't we just why?
Yeah, let's look at it again and try. I'm gonna try to turn it down, and we could, feel free to talk over it. Hold on. Here we go.
Jabba had many vassals.
So right there, by the way, first thing that came to mind is when he says that Jabba never leaves his quarters. It means when he goes out there to get stepped on by Han, that was a rare thing, huh?
A lot of ground to cover if we are to keep his empire.
Oh, look right there. That right there is the guy, I think, driving the speeder. I could be wrong, but when I was on Star Wars Santa Show today, we were looking at the clip from over the weekend, and we were like, "Who's in the speeder?" And it had like two things popping out of the head. I wonder if that's the person. It might be.
Intact.
I can make.
Look at him. Look at that sass of that creature. Look at it. All right, here we go.
The rounds without you. Jabba rarely left his chambers.
Jabba.
See this right here? This is I saw this very building right here behind them, out there in El Segundo. When I was in the Apollo structure, looking down at the set. And this right here is a real building. This is all fake back here. This is also the real building, and this is essentially also where the same location of where they filmed. The moment from the first season where IG-11 goes to take Baby Yoda.
Yeah,
that building right there is in the same place as that building, and you can almost see it's almost the same set in a weird way. It's like the same layout because it's convenient to film on that size set like that. And then there's that pattern that I was talking about. We've seen it a lot already. I just didn't really realize we haven't seen these full shots yet.
Ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
All right, can we stop right there?
Yeah.
What is this weird syllable? What is this? Everything he does, like he's exhaling when he finishes every sentence. Like, I don't.
Maybe I'm making it worse by making it by stopping it and starting it. But here,
no, I picked it up the first time.
We've got a lot of ground to cover if we are to keep his empire intact.
I can make the rounds without you. Jabba rarely left his chambers.
Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
If I may.
Speak freely.
In difficult times, fear is a sure bet.
That's
you can write this shit, George, but you can't say it.
I'm going to actually throw it out there and say my guess is, remember what Rodriguez was saying about how they were like, wow, we're surprised how much you filmed during the pandemic. These were, they set it up and they shot it and they moved on. that was probably a one take. You know what I mean?
Like there's because there's no like, if I may, and like no like, there's no face coverage, no acting, no. It's all one long. It's just one. Like when he goes speak freely, there's no. Like they should have gone closer. Like he steps into frame and looks.
It's very Phantom Menace. We are brave, Your Highness.
Yeah.
It definitely has that kind of vibe to it, I'd say.
Jabba had many vessels.
And then, oh yeah, we got our Gamorrean trailing behind.
We've got a lot of ground to cover if we are to keep his empire
Right there.
intact.
Yeah, it's.
I can make the rounds without you.
Strange choice of a clip on this one because, like I said, it's not really well performed. Not by the modern Star Wars standards, I'd say. Which, once again, why aren't you selling the action? Why are you trying to keep everything a secret to such a degree when it's just going to blow its load on the very first night? All of it's going to come out. It's all going to be very obvious. And, maybe they know what they're doing. I don't know.
Jabba rarely left his chambers.
Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
Like the people walking across the frame looks very 70s. I don't know what you call that, but the way that there's like walking across, it's like that unnatural.
If I
I
may.
want to do I want to do like a goof cut where someone's feet just walks in the frames and they're like moonwalking, they spin and they come back around and they're like, and someone hops. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. One of them's, what's that pogo ball from the 80s? Someone's on a pogo ball.
Speak freely.
In difficult times, fear is a sure bet.
in difficult times, fear is a sure bet. I would like to speak freely if I may.
Shit, hers isn't much better, my friend.
What's that?
Her acting isn't.
No,
no.
I
mean, one could say, well, he's not the biggest actor the last 20 years. I'm like, all right. And then she can act. Like, this is a directorial problem, right? Like, or get it, read it, and finish it, and move on. COVID, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that it. I mean, I'm going to throw it out there. I mean, we have seen Ming-Na Wen act much better than this. And I'm going to throw it out there that Tamara Morrison is an action guy. And probably she probably was matching his intensity. Or you know what I mean? She was probably more or less coming to his level. And I think the show is going to shine in the action, but they have decided in the name of secrecy to just push that. So that's where we end up. I think that's my guess. Let's see if there's anything. Mandalorian spinoff, Book of Boba Fett, first look. Boba and Fennec got a lot of ground to cover. People has the first sneak peek at the Book of Boba Fett. Let me see if there's anything in the article that's interesting. Maybe it'll have a toothy Sarlacc. I'm hoping. Fans of The Mandalorian will soon have a reason to celebrate. The Book of Boba Fett is set to premiere soon. People has the exclusive first look at the upcoming spinoff, which debuts December 20th on Disney+. The latest Star Wars series follows bounty hunter Tamara Morrison, Boba Fett, and Fennec Shand, Ming-Na Wen, as they move through the galaxy's underworld to fight to take over Jabba the Hutt's former territory. In the exclusive clip for the Book of Boba, Boba tells Fennec they've got a lot of ground to cover in order to keep the Galactic Empire intact. In order to keep the Galactic Empire intact? I don't think to keep the Galactic Empire intact. It wasn't saying that. It was talking about the criminal empire, correct?
Yeah,
I don't think people knows what the fuck they're talking about right here. You got it. You messed up.
We had a bot.
Yeah, I saw. I can make the rounds without you, says Fennec. Jabba really left his chambers. Wow, they just wrote the clip out, explaining how Jabba ruled with fear. But I mean, yeah, you could write Toothy Sarlacc a bunch of times for me. Boba reveals how his own approach would differ. I intend to rule with respect, he says. Fennec then weighs in on the matter as well, advising, in difficult times, fear is a sure bet. And then Mandalorian fans were reintroduced to Boba, who is going to say it. No, it didn't say it. Who was joined by Fennec in the show's second season, which aired in 2020. A spinoff series centered on his journey was announced in the post-credit sequence of the season 2 finale. The scene featured Boba returning to Jabba the Hutt's palace, where he is shown fatally shooting its inhabitants. He then sat on Jabba's throne with Fennec at his side. I said Jabba. I'll make one of those British guys. Jabba. If I could smoke and drink, it would be the best job ever.
Tom
A title
Holland loves them Jabba cakes.
Jabba. A title screen then indicated Book of Boba Fett was coming. Blah blah blah. Although Wan remained tight-lipped about any Book of Boba Fett spoilers earlier this month, she told People that she was moved by how much the fans had embraced her character Fennec so much.
Well,
No, she's well liked, but
yeah, now, but
yeah,
I'm
right. We'll
saying,
see. Yeah.
like, depends on that acting, my friends. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Well, I mean, and for the record, like to me, I don't actually care about the acting too much. I mean, in a weird way, like
I'm gonna remember that anytime you talk about a Marvel film. And Avatar.
yeah. Oh no, I never shit on the Marvel acting. I shit on the pacing. Usually, it's usually it's like I'm like looking at my watch, like fucking go. Anyways, no, but like the prequels, the acting didn't actually bother me. The acting bothers me more post Disney, when now it feels inconsistent with the other 9 films I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where, or whatever, how many of them they made. That's where like that bothers me more. But that did flow like the prequels. It's such a genuinely emotional as well as such a satisfying relief that your character is well received, because the Star Wars fans are very, very strong in their opinions and they know what they like. And it's great when it matches their expectations, she said. Yeah, there are a bunch of huge man babies, and I'm one of them. We can't say too much, but we're going to see his past and where he's been since The Empire Strikes Back, Morrison 60. So we can't say too much, but we're going to see his past. So that's a good confirmation right there.
It's a little weird.
But we're going to see his past and where he's been since The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. I mean, he's saying it. That's a hard one to take out of context, I think. You know what I mean? Like,
you think War of the Bounty Hunters? Like, we're gonna.
There's always a chance that something in there shows up, or you know what I mean, as a part of it. But I mean, in terms of War of the Bounty Hunters, what was actually important to Boba is kind of questionable. There's a lot of important stuff in there to the general myth of Star Wars or whatever, the backstory. But I mean, him getting Han Solo and taking it to Jabba is the meat. So I don't know if they would bother. And then there was this time when Kira stole Han Solo, and and he had to get it back. Like I don't think. Yeah, I doubt it actually, but maybe I'm forgetting something. But I mean, I would have to imagine like stuff with well, he does say since The Empire Strikes Back. So I don't know. Morrison 60 told Rotten Tomatoes in June. Somebody pointed out that he's been kind of stuck in one place, and now unless it should have said Return of the Jedi and they said Empire Strikes Back, that could be how the misquote happens. That easily could be how this happened.
I'm gonna assume it's a misquote because the only thing to show in Empire is, look, I don't even believe the comics. I think he just went from Cloud City and dropped Han off it. It's been sitting there. I don't buy any of that. So it's just canon, Rob. No, it's not. It's canon today, not canon tomorrow. I don't care. If they didn't shoot it, it ain't canon, and even then, the 50-50.
Well, if we assume it's a misquote, put that as Return of the Jedi, then what we will see is the Sarlacc aftermath and him living amongst the Tusken Raiders, getting a Tusken wife, having a couple Tusken kids, then skipping town. Somebody pointed out he's been kind of stuck in one place, and now is the time to actually go back in time and check out his journey and find out more about him. So that's what are you saying? And now's the time to go back in time and check out his journey and find out more about him. They are selling that idea. We'll open that up in a second. That was the advantage for me, was that we hadn't seen him do much. He continued, along with Robert Rodriguez as director. We were able to sort of introduce him in a dynamic way, bring him back in a dynamic way alongside the Mandalorian. It was just an honor to be asked back. The Book of Boba Fett premieres on December 29th on Disney Plus. Okay, let's go over to the Rotten Tomatoes article and see what we could glean from it. If it will load. I just got pop-up blocked. Come on. Maybe it'll open. This was an article. I think I'm gonna have to open it in a new window because it's being shared probably. Yeah, hold on one second, and I will reopen that up. I think we're done with the clip. I don't think we're gonna do it ourselves or any more favors by playing it again.
I want to be excited, man. This is scary for me, like as a fan, when they're hiding footage, you know what I mean, and they're claiming it's because they got amazing stuff. We swear, and then they're unclear about how to pitch what it's actually about, and then you drop that scene, and it's like, is it just, look, man, if it's not the greatest acted thing, and they should just be like, I feel like PR should be like, look, we made this during COVID, you know what I mean? We're amazed we got anything out. It was super challenging, like they should be like playing up isn't it great we got something done during the dark times, So people would go, well, but I mean, this ain't Obi-Wan's probably May, right?
Let's like really contextualize this for the charter of the film and let's try and be on the artist side, and what is the artist trying to do, and we could, but there's two things here that we could fight about or whatever, that we could criticize them on and give them a pass on. If you're doing Conan the Barbarian in Star Wars, that's okay. If you're doing The Godfather in Star Wars, is that okay?
No,
it's not. And but when you cast Tamara Morrison, and it's not a dig on him, he's an action guy. He is more of a Conan the Barbarian guy. He is more of an action hero than say an Adam Driver. He's more Arnold than Adam Driver. I think that's a fair.
Right, he's more Predator. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like he'd be a really good, military dude on the Predator team.
Exactly. Exactly. He's more in the action hero sphere, and it's a Robert Rodriguez picture. So I would stop talking about Godfather, and I would talk more about King Conan. I wouldn't push that. That you're not going to get that Michael Corleone acting with his eyes moment before he goes to the toilet.
To the point where, like, when he says "speak freely," I'm like, I feel like that should have been that's the point. Right before he says that, they step into frame, and there's that close where he would be like, "Speak freely." You know what I mean? Like, or like, or carefully, or like, or comforting, like, and then she goes, like, and then. Like, that's the point where that interaction should have been a close up. Like, and I'm not even a fucking director. Like,
I completely agree, and I think we're seeing the ramifications of the pandemic. Probably, I really do. I think that that's most likely why that is as it is.
I wonder with compositing if they're even in the same frame. Like, did they shoot him? And then she shot her and composited it together.
I don't think so. I think I wouldn't be surprised though if the scene was performed as if there was going to be more coverage, or maybe there is more coverage, and the clip that they gave was just the one long static version of it, and as it would appear in the series, it is more edited. I mean, but I'm going to say I think that it really just literally is that shitty. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, And
I don't want to. I'm not. Look, I've been waiting for this since we started doing the show together. Like,
I've been waiting for this
finally,
since
a
I was
Star
4
Wars
years
series.
old, man.
But I'm saying like that we're gonna get to cover a Star Wars series. I don't want to be raw fucking. Look, when Spider-Man comes out, I don't mind hearing negative criticisms of it. But if I'm a fan of a movie, I don't want to hear it that weekend, right? You're on a little bit of a high, so you're like, let's hear it, and then at the end of the series, we'll give our thoughts, good and bad, like. But it's tough to get around that. Like,
Well, can you imagine if you were watching like Total Recall, the promotion for it, and instead of showing like some badass thing with the Johnny Cab on Mars and Arnold doing action, you had him talking to Basic Instinct in their house, and she's just a bitch to him.
Basic Instinct.
You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like that would be. I mean, but that's essentially what right. They're not that it. That's
I'm talking to Police Academy 4. Right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's an action,
she hadn't done Basic Instinct yet. You got to bring up what she previously did. You would be like, she's talking to Police Academy 4.
Fair enough, Rob. I agree. No, it comes down to it was a bad clip choice.
Yeah.
It's effective in setting up the plight of the characters in the first episode and maybe the whole series. But
to be fair, the first episode of Mando has, the blue alien dude whose acting is it's some people's cup of tea, some not people's cup of tea. I'm fine with it.
He's going to prison. That guy.
I'm fine with it. Yeah, I'm fine with it. But some people were like, I don't know. If that was, I don't know. This is like, well, we are really right back into the prequel era, kind of like. What's wrong with it? I loved it.
I mean, well,
they made their day. I got Starbucks. I was able to drop Ahmed home. I mean, what's the big deal?
I mean, it was like 20 years ago, basically. But when you watch Attack of the Clones, it wasn't like Tamara Morrison was tearing up the action. I mean, the acting. It was the action.
Which is why I'm confused about the Ming. Her acting. She's a real good actress. Like. Yeah, this is weird. Like that. I mean, you could say your day, but I'm like, well, I'm faulting the director. Like, I mean, seriously, like if that's, oh man, dude.
Well, no, like I said, I mean, my hope is that when we watch this, if the acting is wooden, it doesn't. I'm hoping it doesn't actually matter because it's not that kind of show. It's going to be an action thing, and maybe
Star Wars, bro. The people are like, they expect it to be the best, and when you show up with that, it's like you gotta. That's 2 levels below a CW show, where they're acting too much.
I don't know if I would go that far, but it was bad.
I'm talking about the acting, not the quality of the visual effects or the story or the interest in what I'm not talking. I'm just talking about the acting.
No, but even the way the extras were walking into frame and stuff like that felt like TV.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's very like this is what I expected from the George TV show, the 1313. Like when we've seen some of that footage. It was what it was, but I was like, well, I guess if George behind it, like whatever. But like, I don't know. Like,
Johnny says there is no way that it's like The Godfather means anything other than space mafia and gangs fighting each other. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. That's why all they have to say is it's really a gangster genre film. That's like, you know what I mean, meets Conan, but
invoking Godfather it's something else.
It's like if I showed me and Johnny were swapping some demos this weekend, and it's like if I sent him and I said this song is like Bohemian Rhapsody
because it's 8 minutes long.
Yeah, but you don't do that. You know what I mean? You don't. And he has gone around saying that it over delivers. And stuff like that.
That's it over, bro. He has said it over delivers. If we show you anything from the second half of this episode, it's gonna spoil your mind. And it's just like, like
too many cooks spoils the broth.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many. I love too many cooks.
That is a weird one, man. I'm not, like I said, I'm not exactly worried. I'm more like my expectations for what this is going to be has changed. My expectations.
Yeah,
of
I
what's
gotta
gonna come.
warn my wife now. You understand?
Mhm.
I gotta warn my wife.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example, folks. Okay, so on the 17th and last night, Metallica did a free concert on Amazon Prime, and I'm like, free Metallica, like, hey, bro, you ain't getting too much free from these folks, right? The guys who
Right.
took down Napster. So I'll watch it, right? I'll watch it, and I know Hetfield's quite, his problem. I know. I don't care. I'll
Yeah.
watch it, right? Because a few things that remind me of my childhood more than the Black Album. So,
Mhm.
and they always put on a good show. I've seen them live. It's a good show. So I'm watching. Now, the last time I saw Metallica live was 2019 in Boise before COVID, right? And I'm going to tell you, singing, everything on par. Like, I was like, these dudes are 60 years old. They're kicking fucking ass.
Yeah.
Last night, Hetfield singing. I don't know if it was the COVID. I think he had it. I don't know if it's his A, if he was an off night, but not the high range. Everything in the low range was like, There was even a part where he fumbled a line and he went A, like having
Sure.
a bad night, possibly, right? It happens to everyone. Ended strong, showing it great. For up till like Enter the Sandman, it was like, okay. Especially he did that Mission Impossible 2 song, and I'm like, probably don't have the vocal cords anymore for that one, But
Yeah.
fine. This is like, I get Tamura having, but her I don't understand. Like no
Yeah.
inflection,
Well,
one long sentence. It's like you're gonna have to explain to people now. Hey, so I'm not saying it's the greatest performance from Metallica ever. I'm saying it's a free one, and it's enjoyable. But you gotta understand, don't go in there for the vocals. It's
yeah.
smooth.
Yeah. I have to think that Morrison. Two things: either Morrison wasn't giving her anything to work with, and she had to match his
Yeah.
intensity as he's the star, and so she has to play
Right.
to him, and then or more coverage was expected, and she was sort of delivering her lines in a timing way, thinking that there was going to be that close-up shot of her doing it where she would do it again, and that's what they would use, and
Okay,
they
so
never got it.
when you say that, people will skip over. They won't know what you're talking. So, like, one of the complaints about Solo was a lack of coverage. One of the ways you do scenes multiple times is you'll do a scene on a long take, but because of their pacing, you will continue a read at a certain level of pacing to match whatever movement's going on. But then when you go for like a close up, which would be coverage, you're going to change the pacing to reflect the pacing of that moment. It's kind of hard to do. It's like rubbing your belly and patting your head at the same time. It's difficult to do when you're walking a brisk pace to also do a meaningful, hey bro, I'm trying to like,
I'm
trying to be,
I'm just
like,
trying
I'm
to tell
trying to
people.
be like very Meg and be serious and but
It's
she
the
gets
jibber
3,000
jabber.
views a video, bro. So
the
she must
jibber
be doing
jabber.
something right.
Yeah.
She must be doing something right. So
Well, she does a lot of that.
can't possibly be because she's entertaining and more talented. But anyway, so I'm just saying, like, that's a good point to be made. They never got the coverage, and that's the
Right.
scene you have, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Maximilians.
what's up,
Look
man?
at-
Guys. Hey guys.
How are you, man? How are you,
Um,
Max? You doing pretty good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are y'all?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Just yeah, I don't know if you saw, but we daved the cats today.
I did. I was laughing.
Yeah.
Very
So
funny.
did you get a chance to see the clip that we played a little while ago?
I did. I watched it with y'all, and I was like, "Wow, this is
Are we being fair or are we being hard?
you're very being very fair.
Okay.
It's wooden."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I am like I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm a prequel kid, you know what I mean? Like I grew up loving the Star Wars prequels, and I'm like they're great, you know.
Maybe this is just like not in the movie in the show, or just a cut of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I was showering and then I just started like coughing. Like so, I hope I'm okay.
I hope you're okay too.
Yeah.
But just feeling a little bit congested.
Well, I started sneezing, so I think it's
Okay.
allergies because I
Good.
was cleaning the house and stuff. I might have loosened something.
Yeah.
Don't give me Omicron, Max. Come on the show. Spreading
No,
that around. What?
No, I think it's my allergies.
I was on Star Wars Santa show today, and I'm like, and I was like, oh, hey. So, anyways, Penny cannot not crash a Star
Hi,
Wars
Penny.
podcast.
Hi, Penny.
Saturday Max, Penny.
No.
No. Little
It's
punk.
okay.
I drank the hot chocolate you made me.
Look-
Thank you, Penny.
It's Christmas week. I make cookies on Wednesday. You know,
Yeah,
I'm gonna pretend I never saw this footage. It's just, you know, and next week I'll deal with it.
yeah. Well, you know, just now when she walked in the room, it kind of occurred to me too. When my son and Penny watch that scene, it's not going to matter how it was acted to them. It's going to be more of the critical, not of the adults and the non-action
Mhm.
show people that are going to be like about it. And so that's kind of my prediction, is that the children and the action cats are going to be fine with it, and the people that are, you know, looking for a lot of depth maybe won't find it in this. And if it was written on the page, I don't know if we're going to see it.
Here's the thing.
Do you
though,
think it needs
like,
music?
Auto frame is being a
Do you think if it had
dickhead.
music over it, it would like? Sorry.
Yeah, you could be. It could be music and sound effects. Like it did feel like we were seeing a cutscene, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Like
You're-
it wasn't. Yeah. Wasn't completed.
Yeah.
It,
I wonder if the clip is a throwaway. I mean, not on the show, or speculating, obviously.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though, like, you getting a B- cinema score is fine in a theatrical release, because that's how you end up with 6 Transformers films or 7 Transformers films, okay? But on TV, your Metacritic or your Rotten Tomato score or whatever is basically what drives people to your platform and subscriptions, you know?
Right.
Reviews literally are everything. And I'm actually totally against reviewing individual episodes of TV shows. I prefer to take a series these days, if it's a continuous series, right?
Oh, you are going to be a hypocrite, my friend, because we are going to tear that shit.
I have no choice, but
hard.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I don't think this episode. I don't agree with. I agree
You have
with
to see
the
where it
series
goes.
as a whole.
Yeah, you have to see where it goes. Yeah.
And when you see it as it goes, you can say, I like this episode better, that one, but I don't like a play-by-play on TV, because they're just not written that to be that way. It's not kind of how it gets set up. But this is, if this is actually the way most of the dialogue is going to play, this is going to hurt Disney Plus subscriptions. Like, I'm just letting, not going to be forever, because I'm certain the Obi-Wan show is going to be acted quite well. I'm certain of it, but this is, I'm telling you, bro, this is going to hurt. Like,
I think Boba Fett in the action, I think it carries it.
okay,
No,
all right, and all those prequel fans showed up for the Phantom Menace 3D, right? Sure,
But
they did.
to
All
be
right,
fair,
all right.
but to be fair, sometimes like
Go on,
sometimes
Clement.
bad acting kind of makes like people think, oh, well, not so bad that it's good, but like, you know, I think
I'm
the
just
action's
telling
gonna
you,
overtake.
the discourse, if the discourse is consistently negative, they're gonna harp on it. I'm just like,
Oh, right.
they will.
No, and
Like,
that's why it's going to have to cover it with action, and with that kinetic kind of, you know, flow that you just can't get anywhere else except for in Star Wars and the Robert Rodriguez style thing. Like, if you give us something like what we get in Desperado in the bar or whatever, like, it's going to, that will, people will be like, whoa, that was rad. And then, so if they get the dopamine rush from that, it'll cover it and it won't hurt it. Now, if the action looks like it's from a sci-fi series on cable, if the action looks like that, if the action matches the performances we just saw, then it's going to be awful. And I completely agree with you. I just think like, if we look at it like it's an RPG and there's so many stat points we could put into it, they took all the stat points out of acting and put it.
But
into
let's think
somewhere
about that. Look at it like it's a video game. I want people to know, those who are like, well, I don't really care about David Cage. I just want to play a video game one day, whatever. So that acting is pretty much what his games are like all the time. It's like, just go play a Heavy Rain or even Beyond Two Humans, whatever that game was.
Max,
it's all the time.
Have you have you heard about the David Cage stuff? Like looked into it? Have you followed any of the stuff on that game? So
I don't play games. It's a video game.
Yeah, it's for Star Wars Eclipse.
Huh?
And
the Eclipse trailer I saw.
Yeah, it's like that. Like his games are more like the guy who makes it. His games are almost like movies where you hit it's like almost like a choose your own adventure kind of thing from what I could see. And this one, but it was going to have some more Twitch elements into it where you like, you shoot things. But
Tell her about Clancy Brown.
Well, yeah, no, and that's where I'm going with this. At first, though, I was going to ask Max if she had an opinion on it at all. You know what I mean? And if you don't, it's fine. If you haven't looked into it, the guy says some terrible fucking things.
Oh, I heard what you said.
Yeah, says he doesn't make games for the F word, the other F word. Mm-hmm. Says all of the women in his games are a derogatory word for sex worker, and so on. And so it's a bit. I was like, is this feels so cartoony? I was like, is this accurate? Is this depiction accurate? Mm-hmm. And as I was looking into it, it's a bit murky. He does seem like he's a terrible dude overall. He seems like it, but at the same time, I'm not him necessarily, but artists oftentimes suck. Our artists, my favorite artists, are some of the worst people I probably know of. Just to throw it out there, that's the reality.
It's true. I'm horrible.
You are the worst.
Yeah, these jokes don't come from a happy place.
No, but it definitely. Anyways, yeah. But the thing
I was just trying to say. Hold on, man. Before we get into the whole point of the conversation was that Clancy Brown once worked with David Cage. I think it was on Heavy Rain. I can't remember which game.
I was going there too. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And he talked about the product. If you type in Clancy Brown, actor Clancy Brown, right?
Downtown Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown, Lex Luthor, the voice of Lex Luthor, the Kurgan, Shawshank Redemption, right? Great actor. Mando, Devil Dude. So, but he talked about working with David Cage.
He was supposed to play an oaf. What do you expect? He did it though. He was an oaf.
Right, but he's
it's on the wall. He's Savage Opress.
Oof.
You know these names? So
Darth Maul's brother, man. Come on.
But he talked about David Cage, and David was just like one of those guys who's like, you just read it and move on, read it and move on, read it and move on. He's like, well, no, we need to take the time to like work this. No, you just read it and move on. And that's typically in video games, it's a lot of that. Just read it and move on. This is that. It's the read it and move on.
Did you see what Joel Williamson wrote?
Fennec Shan has robot guts, and now you want her to emote? Come on!
Hey, look, can we replace her face with an emoticon in the oral nods cut? Like,
no. That's I was going to say is that I never played any of David Cage's games, and I liked the trailer, but I was all for Star Wars Eclipse, but I was always a bit suspicious of it because it's a trailer full of things that don't necessarily add up to anything. It's a bunch of visual implication. It was equivalent of animated concept art. And he seems like, and like Meg just says it better than I do. He doesn't make games for people like me, and he sucks as a person. That said, Eclipse cinematic trailer was cool. But I'm going to throw it out there that I went on YouTube before bed, and I watched people play his games. And they're fucking stupid. So I'm just gonna throw it out there that if they throw the game in the trash, at least you have a really cool trailer to look at as a Star Wars fan. But his games are stupid. Like I was watching one that was like this like civil rights allegory, and it was stupid. It was like a high schooler trying to be deep. So what I'm going with my final verdict on it is I hope he doesn't get to make a Star Wars thing, not only because he's a shitty person, but because he's just shitty at writing. He's shitty at getting good performances, and his stories are ultimately dumb. They are, I mean, it's just the truth. They are dumb. And he's not going to come into Star. I mean, if you, yeah, and I think you made a good point there, Rob, of if you thought that the clip we just watched was solid, then boy, do you want some David Cage Star Wars. And that's not even his real fucking name, by the way. When I finally got to do a deep dive and like, his name isn't David Cage. That's some bullshit he made up. I mean, that's like that's like he wanted to sound like he was a Mortal Kombat character. And yeah, so at the end of the day, like I said, there was a point where it appeared that he said his terrible things as he was in tears, having all these accusations thrown at him, you know. And
I
was like,
fair though, but let's be fair, Jason. His actual last name is Cadgefragilistic. All right, like it's not a stretch to trim it down to Cage. It's just the business
fine then. Fucking call me by my new name, Jason Stryker.
Oh no, what was the name I sent you yesterday?
Can we change your name to Jason Stryker?
Name's Jason Stryker.
I love that. Do you have a drinking problem, Stryker?
Big time. Yeah. But,
what was that name? That street that I sent you? That picture? Of that street?
Shit! I don't remember what it was.
Well, it's Riley Fuzzle.
Riley Fuzzle, and that's going to be our lawyer. If you piss us off, Riley Fuzzle will come after you with all of his might. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I mean, like I said, anyways, what I was trying to say was, it sounded like people were saying, you're a sexist, you're a homophobe, you're this. And then he was like, fine, I don't make games for the FAG. You know what I mean? He was like throwing a little...
I don't know. I felt like they were reading back something he said at work in court, and he was embarrassed and stormed out.
Yeah. No, because it's been covered so many different ways for the record. Like, but I don't... But when you put it all together, he seems like a fucking asshole. And ultimately... Let's just even remove the asshole part from the equation. And Penny, you are aware Daddy can say bad words and you can't, right? Because you're not supposed to be here. And you keep sneaking in, get on here, and I don't notice it. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, regardless of it, he's a bad writer, he's a bad filmmaker. And that game looks so cinematic that you were essentially going to be buying a bad Star Wars film. That's all. That's what it comes down to. So boycott it or don't boycott it. Either way, I could guarantee you it's going to be stupid because everything he's ever put out has been stupid. All of a sudden, he's not going to get Star Wars.
They invoked the last. They didn't, but I don't know who wrote that article. They were invoking The Last of Us, and I'm like, look, that studio achieves and consistently strives to achieve legitimate cinematic results from its actors. From Uncharted 1, on through, that's what they really work towards. Before that, they were working for animated feature level, acting, which they attained. Jak and Daxter's 100%, perfect animated film level acting. Uncharted Forward, they have consistently pushed to the point where when I saw the Uncharted trailer cinematically, when I went to go see Spider-Man, and I'm like, this just plays like highlights from the game with like a new skin, with the Tom Holland skin, like it's like, all right, but that also is a props to like how good the games have been pushing it. Cage is a throwback to an era where you talked about how great your stuff was, and then when you play it, you're like, oh, it's still a game.
Well, the question I have is, where is that activism from Lucasfilm that we usually see from the employees of that company? Why isn't anybody else in the company speaking up?
You made a great case to this. The story group for the High Republic knows about David Cage.
Yeah, and that's what made me think maybe it's being misrepresented or something. But it's kind of
wants to keep
strange.
Your job in the middle of a pandemic, and at the end of the day, capitalism wins again. So
yeah, I guess it's easy to write about the bravery of a Ahsoka Tano.
I just want to be excited about Boba Fett. I just want to be excited about Boba Fett. I just want to come on here and go, that looked dope. You know what I mean? I know I've been holding off the excitement all year, but here we are. I don't want to be like, man, I'm glad we got Star Wars. I'm glad we got Star Wars Visions. I don't need to tear one down to get the other. But what I'm just trying to say is that who would have thought the anime would have outacted the but I know anime actors are so great, so like that's the difference, you know. So I don't know how to do this without sounding like an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say there's no reason for this. They have all the talent in the world. They have all the access to the best talent in the world. Why do we end up with a B movie serial level like situation? How does this I don't look at this guy. You don't get it.
Yeah. Well, but what I can't, well, number one, I want to get to Johnny's comment. I'm going to file this one under CGI trailers are infinitely more intriguing than the game itself. Agreed. And that games are not made for me because I'm queer. Yeah. And it's like, and it's so, you know, I have, after I got a chance to, I actually was able to, I was going to do it on the show, but I got kind of burned out on the topic of it. But I found like transcripts from the court case on a gaming site that covers like that stuff really heavily. And as I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, he's an idiot, and he's an asshole, and he's ultimately bad at what he does. So and
but they can deliver a product, which at the end of the day, corporate only cares about that. So
I mean, how fucking hard is it to make a choose your own adventure game movie where you hit X to pick a different option? Anybody could do this.
Well, making games is hard. I'm not
belittling.
Not anyone can do it. If you think it is, go to Steam and type in $5 indie games and you'll see. Like,
yeah, I am belittling the idea that he's the only fucking piece of ass in town who can do this.
Right. Given what they have, I mean, let's be honest. I can't. Okay, I haven't seen one acting clip from that game. Wow, that thing's just right in the middle of the show.
That's what it wants. I got to move it around.
But I've not been the biggest proponent of the acting in Jedi Fallen Order from the lead actor, right? But given Boba Fett, I'm like, well, you know, it's certainly better than with respect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but let's not let's not start reviewing Book of Boba Fett like we're just talking about how.
And isn't it manipulative? Isn't it? No, we can review the trailers because they took that line and they put it over when he put this helmet on, and that is a clever way of like that's a good line in a horrible scene. Let's put it over something that gives it more context. You know?
Yeah. But let's not review the whole episode based off of a clip either.
What else were we talking about? I'm basing the clip. Like,
yeah,
it's an extended
scene. I mean, like, let's hope it is.
I'm hoping.
That's all. Yeah,
I'm hoping. And Mando had some moments that are less than acted well, and not just from Cara Dune or whatever. You know, like
Star Wars and
everyone
games
had some moments. Everyone on the Mando side had some moments that are like, you know, fine.
Disney will sign off on garbage now. Just look at the Galactic Cruise future flop. They will lose millions. Excuse me. There's that cough I was telling you about, Max. It's coming back. But yeah, I'm hoping that the cruise is great. That I'm hoping that whole thing was sold poorly and it's awesome, and whoever spends that much money on it has a great time. Like I'm hoping that. But I don't think so. And then Meg says Disney, just like any corporation, pretends to care, but they don't. It's all about the money. Them willing to work with someone so despicable just adds to the recent escapades. And it is hard to defend that. You know what I mean? It is hard to. It's like if by in some weird way they didn't know, somebody at Lucasfilm knew, and if that's the case, they didn't feel comfortable enough to go and say, "Hey guys, this looks bad. This guy, I don't know about. You might want to look into it." So they either have that kind of work environment there, which I don't believe they do, or they straight up fucking knew. But it's just so weird to me, and I say this with love, and I'm not as one of the fandom menace dudes. But when you hire a bunch of SJWs, which they call that me that too. I'll gladly be an SJW. But you hire a bunch of SJWs to write the High Republic era, and then you hire that guy to make the video game. Like, are you on fucking drugs? Like what kind of parties are they having there? They must be legendary. It must be like Motley Crue in 1987 over there right now. Like, it has to be fucking off the chain. They have to be having a good time, because that doesn't make any sense. Like, I can't do the mental math on it. It's like it's fucking wacky. Is it like, you know what, the hybrid, you know, was it somebody going, I don't think this is the case, but was it somebody going, wow, we really made the games for the non-binary kids. Now, how do we get the other half of those weirdos into it? Oh, let's get a David.
Well, they'd
Cage
love to
in there.
answer. And they would love to answer, but everyone knows Lucasfilm takes off a winter break until March, and they're in recess right now, so we all know that's. So they it's written into the Lucasfilm Constitution. They have to do that.
Yeah, because I like I said, there's like a lot of people who make their personality about being critical about the culture wars. I don't have a personality, but I'm in the culture wars, and those people, they're not going to let it go on both sides. On whether you're a diversity hating piece of shit, or you want, every single thing to be an exercise in diversification, they are going to build their next year or two off of it. And so it's not going to go away for them. It's not going to stop getting talked about. People won't drop it. And so they either need to say, fuck you, we don't care about you, get lost, we're about selling video games at GameStop, eat my ass, or they need to go out and they need to go, we made a mistake. When we started working with David Cage, we didn't know the full extent. And some of this stuff
fragilistic, expialidocious.
And
get it
to
right. Let's be respectful.
Well, but here's the other part about it, is that a lot of this stuff was unfolding when the game was already in development. It's supposedly been in development for about a year and a half. Some of the stuff happened after they had already begun. And so you could definitely, it's definitely like, it should have been on their radar. And it definitely started before before the full extent of it was known. But yeah, me too, Meg. According to the Fandom Menace, I am a Star Wars shill. Basically, I'm just whatever the opposite of what they need you to be at the time.
You're a Shilly Duvall.
Shilly Duvall. That's true. That's me. Yeah. And there's just like nothing that you can do about like that reality. But I do think that after like really getting a chance to dig into it and to look at it, everything that Cage has said has been and done has been not the kind of person that you want generating family friendly content for. It's very, very clear. So they are crazy, end of the day.
So it's going to be okay for the other half of the Star Wars fandom.
At the end of the day, it won't be, because they don't really like Star Wars. They just play one on YouTube. They just play one on TV. They play one on the internet. I don't, it's like the old trope. I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. It's exactly.
They'll be mad anything High Republic exists because of what it represents. So. Yeah. People are like, but Doctor, you don't like the High Republic. I just don't care for what I've seen in the comics. You're gonna have to show me something beyond floating Greek temples and Jedi's wearing Christian cosplay outfits for me. That's what's weird about it to me, is that it's supposed to be this more inclusive Star Wars, and it looks like the Christian store version of fucking Star Wars. So
yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get it. It's the whole thing is odd to me, and perhaps. And this is a very minor chance, but perhaps we're seeing the real not so great part of Lucasfilm in all this. You know what I mean? Like this there could be a period of 3 more years could be a long time.
Right.
You know, like this there maybe they don't have more in the can. Maybe they've been lucky with Mando and stuff, and I don't know. Or I'm all wrong, but look, if I had to take it as a whole, this is all questionable, you know, all of it, and
Yeah.
not the terribly exciting. So whatever.
So this guy is the one that's making the Eclipse video game.
Yes. Yeah. So if we just if we just shy away from all context and just take things for as they are, he has these quotes saying, "I don't make games for FAGS. All women in my games are whores," and has a quote toxic work culture where they were putting their employees on Nazi their heads on Nazi uniforms, kind of people like Nazi soldiers, and then putting women on beach bod babes, or whatever kind of stuff they were doing with the women who worked there. And then and that one is a complicated a little bit more. The Nazi one is like, what the fuck are you doing? But anyways, everybody there was doing it to each other. And then one of the employees, though, where I changed my tune to that to some extent too, was that one of the employees who was a part of the culture, if you will, didn't come out and actually lost the case in the end because they didn't come out about the stuff until after they were fired. But if you think about it for a few seconds, if it is your job and you don't want to lose your job and you don't want to leave it, you're going to put up with shit at your job until you realize that you can't take it anymore, or until you realize it's bad, or until, you know what I mean? It's like, what are you going to do? So it's like in a way that the court kind of threw it out because that person wasn't Jerry Maguire. Who's with me? This is bullshit. Who's with? And it's just like, oh, is that really the person shouldn't be put in that position in the first place? So it was kind of fucked up. So anyways, so they say that toxic work environment. The other thing was Ellen Page worked with them on a game, was promised that there wouldn't be any nude scenes. They took Ellen Page, put the Ellen Page CGI head onto a naked CGI body, and did a shower scene with Ellen Page when that was against the contract. And at first I was like, I don't know how that works. I mean, it's digital, it's not real. And I was just like, so I don't know what the line is. And I was like, oh, it does seem fucked up though. But when you put it all together, it doesn't paint a good picture, and it's really hard. I mean, you could, like I said, you could barely justify. You can't really justify the things that he said.
Mm-hmm.
But if, like I said, if you're, like I said, if your spouse goes, "You're an asshole," and then like you break down, you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm the asshole," as you walk out the door, which is what he was doing in one of the articles that I read, is how it was depicted. I was like, okay, maybe this is just like they pushed him, and then he broke down and he was like, "Yeah, I'm the one who doesn't do this. I'm the one who only makes games where women are," you know what I mean? Like, it was like that kind of thing. But it's all in French and translated and shit like that, so it's really hard to figure out. But it does appear that he's just an asshole, and like I said, ultimately his work sucks. I don't care about the game anymore. After watching his other games, I have no expectations for that game to be good. It's not going to be good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. If it was all a big Three's Company misunderstanding, and the guy is a completely great fucking dude, he's still not going to pull a good game out of his ass. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be a piece of shit story, because every single thing he's ever done has been heavy-handed stupidity across the board.
You know, I also blame a bit of this on, there have been a lot of acquisitions in the last couple of years by major studios. Microsoft bought a lot of studios. Now, you know, in a way, they probably saved Double Fine buying them, and Obsidian, some of the studios that could not have survived the COVID drop, you know, and everything that happened. So I get it.
Little Max. I'm sorry.
Right. There you go. I like this one. This one I like. You can do this one, Jason.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Snoke right now. Go on,
like
Kylo.
But it's also very Le Mans. You know what I mean? Like, I like this. So,
I'm getting
there's not a
distracted by
lot
that
of
frog behind you.
What was that, Max?
I'm getting distracted by the frog behind Rob.
what
That's
you and
Willow.
the entire cast of Willow. So take a number, Max. So there's not a lot of third-party AAA devs that aren't exclusive to a system to go around. You know, like there really aren't. They need to build a new studio from devs from these old studios that probably don't want to be part of a major corporation, you know?
Yeah.
Which is why I was saying, like, there's that game Arc that Azatru is, you know, or was it Arc Players or something like it's called Arc something.
Okay.
And it's a free-to-play game, which, you know, I'm not for, but it looks amazing. It's like where you're fighting giant robots and multiplayer and has a cool 70s aesthetic. I'm like, those kinds of cats, you know, the problem with those studios is when you start a new studio, you want to give them a remake generally to kind of get the pipeline built and to show that they can deliver a final product. And if the next 3 games were all remake announcements, you know, I can imagine that wouldn't play very well with the fan base too, you know, like, but we do have a lot of studios have been bought up. I mean, Sony just bought the God of War studio, you know, I mean, they've been making exclusive stuff for Sony, but they bought Blue Point, who did the Demon Souls remake and the Last of Us, the conversion, not the Last of Us, the Last Guardian and the Shadows of the Colossus remake, right? So like, they not the Last Guardian. I think they finished it, but they definitely do the Shadows of the Colossus. They bought them, so like, there's just been a lot of acquisitions, and there's just how many free roaming third-party game devs that can work on something that's for all systems are there. I mean, Ubisoft is minting NFTs and they have a toxic workplace and they do crunch and they have assholes that work there who won't take accountability. They even harass YouTube people who complain about them in DMCA videos and stuff and Patreons. They DMCA Patreons, bro.
That's why I think they should just get Blizzard, who is just a real straight shooter with that World of Warcraft.
Too much energy wasted in the subject. Well, I'm not allowed to complain about Boba Fett yet. I was told.
No.
By Lord and Savior Striker over here. That
No.
Dark Striker put the band hammer on me.
Striker cares. Striker
Too
said
much wasting the subject. Then go somewhere else, Star Wars in game. We're talking about so we're having a legitimate fucking conversation. Like, I mean, no offense, right? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, if we're having you know what? You tell me what we're supposed to talk about. Like, what are we supposed to talk about that's meaningful? Like, I want to get Max's opinion on David Cage too. You know what I mean? Like, why don't we have versus just Jason and I having all the fuck? It's tough when you're like, I want more diversity, and only Jason and I are the two guys fucking. We're two white dudes who are in our 40s are having all the conversations about shit. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, Boba Fett's great. Can't wait. More of it. Do it.
Just the game won't do well.
Max doesn't like the frog. Like, what am I supposed to do? I can't win nothing.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Calm
Look,
down. Tell me to calm. Am I supposed to smile more?
This is the dad.
Oh, it's the
Playing.
dad.
Just playing
It's the
with you,
dad.
Star Wars in game. Just playing with you.
And the way you say his name is Chalker.
Chalker?
Mhm.
Okay, Chalker.
It's not Striker, it's Chalker. Or is that the cat?
Oh,
I like Uncle Meeps.
He
As a
is-
Muppet fan, you got to understand. Beaker's my favorite. So you got an Uncle Meeps. I'm like, Beaker should have a nephew. Like the one Muppet to procreate beyond Kermit. I mean, because I can't stand Robin, that fucking frog. So Beaker should have a little nephew, Meeps. Oh, Beaker should
I'd
have
pick
a
him up,
nephew
but
named
he's
Meeps.
fat. He's right here, but
Oh.
he's too big.
Well, COVID,
The fat
weight,
cat.
you know.
The vet asked, like, how much does he weigh? I said fat. even-
That
even
should have
the-
been in a Garfield strip.
I'm gonna steal that whenever I go to the doctor. How much do you weigh? Fat.
Also, you know there are no licensed Garfield lasagnas. Like,
yeah?
Maybe you
yeah,
should do it.
I was like, there should be a licensed Garfield lasagna.
By
Like,
Mondays.
yeah, Mondays.
By Mondays.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna call them Mondays. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I will say Star Wars in game. The thing about it is that it's unresolved, and it's hanging out there. And like I said, it's not going to go away. And so it needs to. It would be nice if they made a statement, like I said, just saying "fuck off," or if they made a statement saying
We fucked up.
"oops." You know what I mean? How are you?
The
you
crazy
know,
part is, and I'm not one to crap on the Game Awards as many people do, because I understand how hard it is to put together a show and sponsors. I get it. But when you start your show saying that we don't tolerate, we you know, they don't want to actually throw Bobby Kotick under the bus, so they go, we want every studio to step up, and then they immediately start with a trailer for David Cage. It's like, what's going? What? Cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. Like, I don't, what is it?
yeah.
I have to be told what to think and feel from my corporate overlords, and I don't know. It's conflicted.
Yeah, but I would say look up if anybody thinks I'm being facetious, or if I am overblowing how bad his stuff is. I suggest you go and watch people play his games on YouTube for about 20 minutes, and you'll see actors are good. Every now and then you'll see actors you're like, oh, I know that person can act, and it. But the way that it flows, it's not like, oh, it's just a video game. It's really a choose your own adventure movie. And but because it's choose your own adventure, it's poorly done. But thank you for acknowledging that I am Striker. Everyone I step about the game brings up all the toxic crap and Cage's piece of shit behavior. Yeah. It
I like your name is Striker now.
Striker.
So that's so cool. You just said as a kid, Striker would have been the absolute coolest name I could think of.
Oh, yeah, but you get your
my initials spelt rad. Striker.
Yeah. Bestman says Game Awards have also have Activision members on their board and only made a statement after backlash saying they won't. So yeah. Well, yeah, I'm Striker. You're Rad, and Max
Rad Masters.
Max is Max, but with 3 X's at the end. Max triple X,
like a porn movie.
Is it 80s triple X or early 2000s Vin Diesel triple X?
I was thinking more like Vin
you
Diesel.
Kill everybody with your bare hands and a rocking soundtrack.
Right? Yeah, Max doesn't look back at explosions behind her. So
no.
Was Triple X the one with the motorcycle that jumps off super high? Like, was that the X Games motorcycle move?
I didn't actually see it. I never actually saw that movie. I don't watch shit. I'm gonna watch cool stuff.
Max, you got to jump off motorcycles now.
I'm gonna watch cool stuff like David Lynch movies. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. It's true.
Craig says, I'm shocked no one has attempted to make a GTA style Star Wars game after all these years.
But Craig, this is what I've been trying to explain to you. Like, the licensing for Star Wars is obscene. The money they demand, that you have to, there's guarantees when you sign contracts. So you have to guarantee a certain amount. Yeah. So when you think about, a GTA style game, it's about a $500 million commitment. Okay, that conservatively, like, what? Between marketing and development, and that's assuming everything goes right, and you're not rebuilding the whole game a couple times, right? Let's say, look, we'll be fair, $250 million, $300 million commitment, right? Let's just say that. Now, how many third-party studios beyond Rockstar? Lucasfilm didn't want to be associated with Rockstar, so they weren't going to do that. Like, now they probably don't care, but let's definitely say in the early 2000s up till 2015, they weren't going to do that. Then they signed a 10-year exclusive with EA. EA was incapable of making an open world Star Wars game. They tried with
Ragtag.
What's the game? Ragtag. That EA has a mandate that they have to use Frostbite, their internal engine Frostbite, for everything, because their CEO's a nitwit who doesn't understand how this works, and converting Frostbite to an open world engine it's impossible. Yeah. They had to build one from scratch. It can't be done. So who left? Ubisoft is making that open world game because they already have an open world set of tools. Ubisoft is, pretty much as problematic as it gets. Like, they're no better than, and there's no AAA studio that isn't I know you don't like that word, but I don't know what to use. Conflicting, troublesome. You know what I mean? Meddlesome, whatever word we want to use. They're all meddlesome. They're meddlesome, you know, like, so
That makes it cute. That makes it adorable. Like, it was so adorable when he put
Yeah.
Ellen Page in the shower. It was just meddlesome.
well, you know, like, I don't know what to do, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you're right. No, you're gone.
so that's where I said at that point, if they want to say, you know, we want to control the narrative on the development of our games beyond the final release of the game, they should have an internal studio making the big AAA game, and they should be using licensing to cover smaller level Super Star Wars, multiplayer only, the mobile thing, or Fortnite, or VR experiments style things.
Yeah.
Because if you're a studio who says I have to put 250 million or 300 million dollars into a game, and I have to guarantee 100 million to Lucasfilm, why would you give up a third of your development costs just to pay for a license? And that doesn't even include what you made on DLC or off the back end, you know. So
Yeah, what they would probably have to do is move to a model where it was sort of like how GGA makes most of its money with shark cards and shit like that, where with cosmetics and stuff, where they would have some sort of back end deal where either Lucasfilm got most of that money or none of that money. They would have to
and
go.
they had to be very careful because the fallout from EA's loot box controversy,
Yeah.
you know, like, looms heavy. Fans are weird, you know. When they announced Crash 4, there was this rumor that there was going to be a bunch of paid for skins.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to tell you what, I'm not privy to know whether that was true or not, but even if it were true, fans got real mad about that. And then they had to put out an announcement saying that's not true. You know, you're going to have a bunch of unlockables in games, which, but then everyone's like, but I'm going to pay for unlimited skins, not just in the free-to-play games, but in any game. Like, Spider-Man isn't a, you know, they sell skins, and the Arkham Asylum game sold a Batman 89 skin. I bought it happily.
Mhm.
Like, when you make skins that aren't cheap, they're not just color changes. They're actually put a lot of effort into modeling, and that helps fuel the game post-launch, which, as you know, is very difficult to do. A lot of games make their money in the first 30 days, and then that's it. You know, so.
Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, probably my favorite games of all time. If Star Wars even came close to ever pulling it off, and something close to that, even in the vicinity of that,
Ragtag was our best shot.
yeah,
You know,
I would be so into it. I would be so happy. And but yeah, I'm with you. I don't see that happening anytime soon. I'm surprised. It's just a bad one. It hasn't happened. So you know what I mean? I'm just surprised. Like, a failed, really crappy. You know, like what are those, like? You know, those GTA
and had
clones?
Activision, but had Activision or Ubisoft got that 10-year license instead of EA, we would have seen one by now, one way or the other, good or bad.
Yeah.
But EA got the 10-year exclusive license, and EA just makes Battlefront. They make first-person shooter games and racing games. That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's true.
that's
No,
what
it's
they
true.
make.
Yeah.
And sports titles. So there you go.
Yeah. I'm both glad that we're past that EA era where other studios will be making games, but it sucks that one of the very first ones that we get to move on from is this one. And EA had the exclusive on the game dev license, and they made 2 games. In my own opinion, it was a mistake to make it exclusive, but now we have Lucas Games, and it seems like we are getting some diversity now.
Which is why I
And,
said, given how long development takes, and you need a studio that has the talent, has the pipeline, but is also
Yeah.
hungry, willing to take the licensing hit, because they're not going to go below their licensing. They'll drop something, but not. It's always going to be absurd. Even for sure, it's absurd.
Yeah.
Like, that's where Remedy made a lot of sense, because Titanfall 1 and 2 were underrated games. You know, high production value, not as big as they should have been. And then they did Apex after Fallen Order, and now they're up there. I've been saying the missing money, the money left on the table. You know, two avenues. One, the Super Star Wars format for all their TV shows. Like, there should be a Super Star Wars, Super Mandalorian, Super Bad Batch, like the pixel 2D format with a really good studio like Wave Forward or Emu, or the cats are doing like the new Turtles games,
Yeah.
you know, or even the hand drawn stuff like Lizard Cube. There's who did like Streets of Rage 4 and Dragon's Trap, or FDG Entertainment, who did Wonder Boy, really great. So that is money waiting to be made with the built-in fan base for nostalgia. And kids who like to play pixel games are safe, right? Like you can do that. The other thing we've been talking about is the VR, like having a VR game where you could play all your toys and action figures as an RTS. I gotta imagine you could have that up in 12 months, you know, with a decent budget. There's plenty of crew out there who could do it. It's just not being done. So
Yeah.
And Lucasfilm was one of the few that they have the mold. They can do any molds from any toys they ever want. You know, like Star Wars is all under one umbrella. Hasbro / Disney / that's money just waiting there to be made.
They definitely need to make a VR toy box. I agree with you. Whatever it happens to be, doesn't have to be in the style of things that they've already done. I honestly don't think that most of the kids who would play it or buy it even give a shit if it was. If my son could pick up
that's
a
what skins are
Mandalorian,
for. You have new ones, old ones, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and my kid just would be into whatever it happens to be. You know, if it was fun to play with, that's all that they care about. And I do appreciate games like Vader Immortal. Like that series is fantastic. And as we, you know, hopefully the Oculus Quest sells. Not that crazy about Facebook, but hopefully Oculus Quest sells a lot, so it furthers VR even further, whatever the hell it's called now.
Empire and VR,
yeah.
So like Johnny was mentioning Shovel Knight. Like I was saying, if you want to talk Japanese developers, a underrated Japanese developer that is used to taking on third-party work that needs a boost. I can name two right now. Platinum, who you know from the Bayonetta games and Wonderful 101, would be one. They need work. You know, they have the tech, and CyberConnect 2 or whatever, CyberConnect 2 did all the .hack games and a ton of like supplemental work on many games that have already shipped. CyberConnect 2 is great. Even the studio that did the BlazBlue games, I'm brain farting on their name right now.
All I know
Star
is
Wars fighting game.
Is that
Star Wars fighting game?
Max is like, these guys are fucking nerds. That's what Max is.
Yeah, we're nerds. This is where it gets real nerdy.
No, I'm kidding.
But you could take all the Star Wars Visions characters and give them a fighting game. You know, put them in that fighting game and look like the anime. Go look at BlazBlue or Guilty Gear Strive or any of those. Their engine is amazing. It's the closest I've ever seen. They did the Dragon Ball fighting game, right?
I just want Chewbacca with Blanca's moves. I want him to go and then go into a ball and like a Wookiee ball and just like shoot at characters
like Blanca,
just like Blanca.
Yeah.
Blanca.
I've always said that Blanca is he's a green Chewbacca. That's what I say.
No.
I could be wrong, but
is this a real name? Is this a real character?
Yeah,
Blanca?
from Street Fighter 2. Blanca.
From Street Fighter 2. Yeah, the green guy who like shocks. He curls into a ball. Yeah. Next time there's a Star Wars thing and we get to hang out, I'm going to take you to play some Street Fighter at Nickel over here. They have this arcade here. It costs a nickel. You could play a video game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna become your Mr. Miyagi, Max.
Mine?
No, fuck
Striker
that.
Miyagi.
Yeah, Striker. I'm definitely Cobra Kai. You're gonna join Cobra Kai of Street Fighter.
Okay. As you take me to Miss Pac-Man, that I can play.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I want you to play Miss Pac-Man blindfolded, because if a man can't see, a man can't fight is the saying, right? Well, I'm gonna let you see. But,
if you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge.
Yeah, no, you know what? Like that, we're gonna do air hockey blindfolded.
I'll use a force.
You're gonna be aiming. He plays mean, Max. Striker aims for the fingers.
I do.
Air hockey, so you gotta hold.
I've played air hockey before, and I've gotten my fingers hit before.
Yeah, I actually throw the thing. What do you call that? What's the thing called that you hit the puck with?
The
thing.
I don't know.
The thing.
The thing.
Yeah, I'll throw it. I'll throw it at your head. Like if I'm losing, I'll be like, oh, oops. Oh, you can't see now? I guess we can't finish the game I was gonna win.
It's funny.
But yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I think we're gonna call this one a show today. Let Max drink some water, and we're getting all verklempt over today's news, over Tamara Morrison's acting chops.
One wasn't helping either.
Yeah,
Let's be
no,
fair.
but we'll have to see. Hopefully, they realize, boy, that was a shitty clip, and release more because I hope they're not taking that one to a Jimmy Kimmel. That's what I want to say. You know what I mean? I hope that's not the one that they take on Kimmel.
Where's Craig Ferguson when you need him? Right?
You know, it's
one
just
show I was able to watch. You cut to that skeleton after that clip.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But we everyone go to the top of the show and you can look at how to donate to Max's Kitty Fund, and please donate to the Max Kitty Fund.
Please.
It's important.
This is not something that I would normally ask people to help me with, but I'm going so far as having to take off my shoes, disinfect them before I walk into the house. So personally, I'm a bit nervous.
Yeah.
I want to hurry up and get them tested. I'd like for their test to be negative and then vaccinated. So
Right.
Yeah, otherwise I'd have to be waiting just to see how they are in the next couple of weeks.
Right. Do you have any idea how long that stuff lives in the yard, for instance? Like,
So it can live up to a year.
oh shit, a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is important. We're gonna keep pushing it until we make the goal.
Thank you. I know I'll reach the goal because I really don't have a choice.
Yeah. We're gonna do it, Max. We're gonna do it.
Thank you guys for having that.
Star Wars fans are the best.
And actually, most of the people that have donated have been Star Wars fans.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna bring
only, most of them though.
Yeah. And
just turn quick.
hey, we'll take money from the shitty ones too, to save the cats. on that front. I will.
And even when you said just $1, I really didn't think of that, but yeah, it's true. Even as little as $1, it adds up. So.
Big time. And we're like I said, we will keep pushing it every day until we make the goal. So
Appreciate
and
it.
we will, yeah, I mean, we will Dave the cats every day if I have to. Every day if I have to.
That was cute. Can you send me that picture?
Yeah, I will. I'll send it to you right now. And yeah, and then if anything happens, I'll jump back on, and if you guys are around, I'll invite you back to help me dig in. But who knows? I got a feeling the clip will be the only official thing today. They usually don't want to double dip too hard on with a clip. They want everybody to see it.
Yeah.
Don't do it, guys.
Well, on the clips that they had of the Mandalorian, were they pretty simple? I don't remember.
They were terrible. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they were never anything like really that great from it, honestly. But they weren't as bad as this. And when it comes to, I have a whole, what's it called, the Kuleshov effect. Mando always had his helmet on. So when something was really bad, it always played a little bit better because he had the helmet on. You read the emotion, your brain fills in the gaps. And like I said, I have a whole video on it, on the Kuleshov effect, on this channel. So, and if anybody wants to learn more, but on this one, they're like, hey, take your helmet off and talk to Ming-Na Wen, and they both have their helmets off, and bad choice.
They both have them off in a place where they could be murdered, and we have no close-ups. Smart. Like the whole point of taking it off would be for a close-up, because a close-up from two helmets would look weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like I could just see people. We want you to direct an episode. I'm like, well, I would delegate it to someone who knows how to do it. One would think Robert Rodriguez would know how to. I don't know. I'm assuming COVID played a hand in this.
Oh God, that hand looks so funny.
Hand. Like
Or is this Robert Rodriguez's hand?
Yeah,
Oh, this is actually Dennis Lawson's hand. I cut it off with a lightsaber and I brought it for you, Rob.
2 size. Yeah.
Actual size. Side note,
You know the common phrase, a wedge on a ledge?
my friend was a stripper. That's what he called himself. And he asked me to make his website for him years ago when I was about 19, and I made it for him. And then he didn't pay me. And so as a joke, I under his picture, I wrote actual size. Under his, on his, and he had no way of changing it. And it wasn't like we were friends. It wasn't like a hostage situation, like pay me or I'm going to leave it up there. It was just like, I'm 19 and stupid. And there you go. But anyways, bye everybody. We will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. And Max, you're always welcome to join us when you're free. Love having you on the show.
Okay.
And we'll try not to talk about boring ass video games next time because you're not
100% less frogs.
Yeah,
it's okay.
So I can guarantee.
But yeah. So anyways, have a good day, everybody. Help Max's cat fun. Dave the cats, you guys, come on, Dave the cats. All right, bye.
It's not about spaceships. It's not about spaceships.
Hey Max, so you know, I have money trapped in this debt. I had a Venmo set up last month because I sold his commission. The guy wanted to pay me in Venmo.